Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Today I'm going to take you through a reel that is core value of it is nothing. It's missing a button up top. It came in one of these piles that I buy every now and then, you know, a big lot at a flea market at the end of the day. But I wanted to really do this video because this reel is just a statement of simplicity. This is the Olympic Spark 1/0. It's made in Japan. It was probably in the 70s or early 80s. It's a metal cased reel and the design is so simple and lasting that you just kind of wish that they would continue to have made these. Older school, it has the bump for the release of the bail. It has a replacement handle on it, and it's missing the drag knob. If I actually find the drag adjuster knob, this one could go back fishing again. So I wanted to take this through to you to show you sometimes how simple reels can be very effective, and how to maintain one of these if you have one. And if you see it up, don't be afraid of it. And if you see one on a table somewhere, as long as it has all of the pieces and parts. I keep stating that in a lot of these flea market videos and that I do. If you're going to buy an older reel, make sure it has all the pieces and parts. If it doesn't, they can become a nightmare to go find them, and if you don't find them, then you pretty much have a lost cause. And speaking of lost causes, this is the other thing that's missing. There's a little metal plate here that would hold that spring in. The spring functions perfectly fine, but you hit the side of the boat with that and this bail spring is going to shoot. The whole idea is that that little protective plate there keeps that spring located where it should. So too many things wrong with this to go make investments to try and tune it up for resale. However, let's go take a look at that statement in simplicity and how this reel is set. So this is a replacement handle. Actually, this handle is off of a Shimano. It has a square through arm, and there's a square one in this one as well from the main gear standpoint. So let's take it off then. Spool comes right off because we don't have the adjuster knob. If you look underneath now, you're going to see that there is no, bring that up a little bit, there is no nut holding the rotor on. Some of the older reels that do not have that have a U-clip underneath here, and that's how you would remove the rotor. So let's go ahead and do it. As I mentioned, this has probably got about 5 moving parts in it. It's not a complicated reel at all, but it's an enduring reel. Olympic made the Dolphin series from the saltwater side. Those are still highly sought after, and they are very nice level wind reels in small form factors. If you look at an Olympic reel, in a lot of cases they almost look identical to pen reels inside, and I think that might have been the first of the offshoring of a lot of designs, or IP at least. It looks like those reels were manufactured by Penn, but the designs look like it, but they weren't. And you see, I don't know if it's a knockoff, if that's the right word or whatever, but a lot of the designs are the same. So here we go. Here's the statement in simplicity. You heard that clicking going on. Anytime I open up a reel that's got a throw arm on it, I always take that to the off side, so that if we remove that, we're not pulling that anti-reverse stuff with it, if it's possible. Here's the metal case should just come off now. There's your your anti-reverse dog held on by a spring, so it was good that we did pull that off. And this is it. You have a crosswind arm, a main gear, an axle shaft, and on the rotor you have the pinion gear. So that's it. 4 moving parts makes this whole thing work. We'll just kind of turn it to show you how that works. Couldn't get any easier. Simple designs work. And then this would be the anti-reverse dog that's going to latch into these teeth here to pull that off. So let's just take it apart and show you. So the arm comes out. It's Got a pin that's attached to the arm, so you don't have to worry about losing that pin. That pin sits in the hole of the axle shaft, and once that pin is removed, you can remove the axle shaft. I'm not even cleaning this up just because it's too far gone to save, but once you remove the axle shaft, then you can remove the main gear. Got a lot of junk on the light there. And then you have the pinion gear, which is attached to the spool. So to get that out, there's a little U-clip up here. Once that's removed, that's the U-clip. Once that's removed, you can just remove the rotor. So if you're servicing the reel, you want to pull the rotor always, because there could be sand, dirt, debris, something else lodged in there. You also want to clean all of the junk that's in the upper portion of the pinion gear where the main gear isn't striking, because that can hold dirt as well. You want to clean around the inside of the rotor, just because whoever did this the last time, when they put grease on the shaft, they put too much on and it just accumulated there. You want to re-lube. Again, I'm not going to tune this one up just because it's in pieces and parts at the moment, but you want to re-lube. Once you re-lube, then clean out the junk on the other side of this as well. This one's just got a lot of dry grease. I'm sure what happened is the handle or something broke on this, and that was it. They just decided to put it on a shelf somewhere and eventually try to sell it. So clean all of that up, clean all of this up. Reinstall simply by pushing down. There's a little groove in that pinion gear then, so that's where the, trying to do this for the camera, that's where the U-clip then goes back in. Press that down so it can clear the case. Once that's in, then you would have cleaned your axle shaft, and that can come through. Oh, actually, you want to put your main gear in next. This it doesn't matter. This main gear can come out without the axle gear coming out, but most of the time you want to put the main gear in next. You would have cleaned that and lubricated the main gear. Your axle shaft comes in next. Set the hole so that it can align with the pin from the crosswind. Grab the crosswind block then, crosswind arm, align that with the inner ring from the main gear, just like that. There's a little metal washer that came out with the side case that goes over it. That goes over, it just provides enough here on that crosswind arm so that it doesn't pull off. And then when you go to reinstall your anti-reverse dog, that anti-reverse dog slips behind the arm of the stud, so you kind of have to come in on it from an angle, slip it behind, pull it over, push it up, then you can lock your case, and then you can go reinstall the 3 screws. And you'll see this, there's some lower end Daiwa reels, a bunch of reels from Zebco, a lot of these like Berkeley, kind of made in Japan 70s and 80s reels that used almost an identical approach in simplicity and manufacturing to put out a set of reliable reels. They don't have the ball bearings, as you saw. They're probably a little bit harder to turn. They have bushings in the side cases, but at the end of the day, for pulling in fish, it might take you a little bit more effort, but they're going to catch as many fish as some of the more modern fancy reels that are out there with some of the conveniences we've come to expect, high gear ratios, ball bearing construction, lightweight cases, things like that. That has been the evolution of reels. Okay, so that's that, and I'm just going to trip that at the reverse lever just to make sure we're back on. And we're back on. I guess it's a shame we've lost this piece here and the drag knob. Let's just take a look and show you what's in the drag sets as well. There's a clip here that's rides on the inside ring of the spool. Got to hold that clip. It's going to spring if it doesn't, but that's your clip. And then you can fish out the drag washers. And I like to use something like I'm using here, a little pick or something, so that I can keep the order of these drag washers aligned, so I know exactly how they go back in. So the stack is frozen. It's no surprise there. These appear to be leather washers that were never lubricated or never paid attention to, which is why I always service drag washers when we talk about servicing. I take the extra few minutes and show you how to do the drag stacks, because they should be. These are leather. They didn't stick terribly. At least it didn't stick terribly to the first. I'm using a utility knife. Please, if you're using utility knives, be careful not to slice your fingers. I have a little trouble separating this last one here. We don't need any visits to the hospital emergency room, especially with razor knives. There we go. All right. So that's what you have. Actually, these look like cork, which is fine. Leather and cork are fine. They're the older style. Now you probably would find felt or HT100s or something like that. Because these are an absorbent material, you would coat these with some kind of grease. Cal's Universal Dry Grease would be a good one. But you want to, if they're porous, you want to make sure that you can get some grease in these, and that'll keep them flexible and it'll keep them from drying out and sticking to the drag set. In this case, we had 2 leather and 3 metal, so the metal one went in first, followed by one of the drag washers, followed by the keyed or the eared washer, followed by the second one of these, and then the metal one went up top, and then the spring goes into the groove. So that's how you would service one. Takes about no time, well, whatever the time of the video plus explanation, but it doesn't take much to take one of these apart. You would of course you would reinstall the spool. You would retighten your drag adjuster knob if you had one. You would reattach the handle, take it for a spin to make sure it works fine. And as I said, if you had that little metal plate that holds your bail, if you had your drag adjuster knob, this one could go fishing again, even with the replacement handle. It's a Shimano handle. So I did that more as a show that enduring designs don't have to be complicated. They can be simplistic in nature, and they can be very effective in fishing. And also to show you how to tune up the Olympic Spark 1/0 if you have one. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you did, please subscribe to see more, and please let me know your likes and your comments. I reply to all. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Thank you for watching.